It's some contrast, from the calm of the church to the AFL battleground. But while God will always come first with these footy-revering reverends, their teams run a pretty close second.
I love football, but I also love people, and when you put that together in what our Australian football is about, it's exciting.
I passionately love the Bulldogs, but I passionately love Melbourne now, and I'm a one-eyed supporter for Melbourne and for Doggies. No one said you can't be a one-eyed supporter for both.
How did you go that day they played together?
They played a night match. It was, I'm going, come on boys, come on Melbourne. They were doing well, but my foot was kicking the ground. I was going, kick that ball out there, you know, Romero and Lebo, come on.
By ourselves, we will fail. By ourselves, we won't make it.
Off with the Mickey tie, on with the Demon tie. Swapping Mickey with the Demon. Someone once said it's ironic, isn't it ironic that a man of God's dealing with demons? But where else would I be?
No sooner does their Sunday service end, and it's off to the match, where these men of the cloth become part of the gum-chewing, knuckle-clenching macho land that is professional football.
And what about the nudity? Doesn't shock you?
No, I've seen a male's body before. Hello.
That's just so funny when players walk up to you and say, "G'day, Rev, how you going?" They've got nothing on, and you're just trying to look them in the eye. Good, thanks.
Reverend Paul Cameron has been part of Tigerland for 6 years. Coach Jeff Geeshan says he plays an important role and is heavily relied upon.
I have a very good working relationship with him, and you know, we'll often sit down and talk about things or outcomes or things we want to achieve. And but look, no, as I said, he's just been, even personally, you know, a bit of tragedy in my family in recent times. He's been fantastic to me, and if he offers the players the same sort of support that he's given to me, he's just wonderful to have around.
The mutual respect between these two men is obvious, and for Paul, his two life passions often intertwine.
I'd invite you as a congregation to be praying for Jeff Geeshan, the coach of the Richmond Football Club. His mother died.
Pastor Cameron too senses the link between the great game and the bigger game of life.
Because it's such an emotional time before a match where it's very cold and stark, the rooms, and this is what I've experienced. And afterwards, you know, there's jubilation or there's a real roller coaster ride of emotions. And you, as a minister, you come in as a bit of a balancing effect, saying it's okay, keep your eye on the bigger picture.
As volunteers, they are independent from management, and being neutral allows players to discuss issues they might not broach with the coach.
Do you ever pray for a win?
Oh, you do. You've got the guys. You have all the trainers come up to me about 15 minutes before the end of the game when Melbourne are back by about 12 points, and they're saying, "You're praying wherever, you're praying." And I say, no, guys like this, "Come on, why aren't you praying? You've got to be praying." And they're all sort of stressed out, and that's okay, they're going to win, they'll do well.
AFL isn't the only sport to have spirituality on its side. Top NBL team Melbourne Magic also benefit from the input of their very own hands-on counsellor, Reverend John Van Groningen.
I mean, you can have those bad practices, those bad games, and he's always there, being positive to you, saying how you contributed, he's always just being positive, and having that kind of person around the club definitely helps.
I always have a prayer before I go out and play, and you know, with him around, you know, if there's something that I need, spiritual or anything like that, I mean, it's good to know that you have that person there that you can go to, you know, if you need something spiritual.
When you have a sport as professional as basketball, and we're talking about so much money for these young fellas, that some of them are not even 20 years old, you're talking about amazing pressure on the guys, and something that perhaps they're not used to, just having finished high school. So I find that perhaps just the fact that they're actually unloading and able to speak to somebody who's not associated with on-court performance, who's not worried really whether they won or lost, but just is there to hear them out, I think that probably is helpful.
It's a devotion that stems from passion. These guys spend over 10 hours each week at training, visiting the injured, lending a hand or an ear. And at the end of the day, as thousands of fans will attest, this is a religion of sorts.